Hey everyone, it is Friday, August 18th, 2023. This is episode 12 of the 9 Frames podcast. Be sure to catch us on Spotify at 9 Frames, YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast, and X at 9 Frames Pod. You could also see us on playergm.com. Let's get into what was a pretty packed week of baseball. Also, let me just say, I'll intro myself too. I'm Bill Whalen.
Oh, and I'm Mike Whalen.
Yeah, you know us by now, right? Okay, so let's get into the baseball. This was the craziest thing I saw in a while. The Braves come for a little 7-game set against both New York teams. They have the 4 games against the Mets and a 3-game against the Yankees. In those 7 games in 6 days, because of a postponement because of the Mets, they have a 58-13 run differential against the New York teams in those 2 series.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what Atlanta does, I guess.
Nearly 60-10 against both New York City teams. Pretty ugly.
Yeah, they're plus 208 on the year now. So.
For a team to be playing 7 games in 6 days on the road and outscore teams like that, especially when the Yankees are trying to make a push to the playoffs, dude, you got to give them credit again. And like we said, they're having the best slugging percentage team ever.
It's one of the best offenses ever.
Haven't seen a team this good since the Great Depression.
Yeah, so. Literally the murderer's row Yankees.
Fingers crossed that doesn't happen again.
And the Mets and Braves are going to be kicking off another series after the Cardinals and Mets wrap it up.
Yeah, so it seems like Atlanta's going to stay hot, so kind of hard to... Mets have been playing pretty good ball.
They've been playing better.
So we'll see. But we're going to cap off a series that we talked about on Wednesday's episode. That's the Dodgers and the Brewers, which...
Huge games.
This was a tough series for the Brew Crew. It really has been. The Brewers, after this series, they're sitting at a -5 run differential as a first-place team, which is pretty wild, man.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, they finished the 3-game set. We talked about Tuesday's game, but Wednesday and Thursday here. Wednesday was an easy 7-1 win for L.A., so they clearly looked like the superior team. Kershaw, the GOAT, goes 5 innings, 1 earned. He's 11-4 on the year. The guy is still so solid in his elder age. I mean, he's aged like wine.
Yeah, and yesterday, we've talked about him. Lance Lynn looked absolutely phenomenal again.
Dude, this game was a fun watch, the late one.
Complete pitcher's duel. Corbin Burns was also shoving, and the game ends up being a 1-0 game on an Austin Barnes unlikely hero solo shot.
Yeah, that's his first of the year in the bottom of the 8th, man. Really phenomenal. I think it's off Payamps, was his name?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Lance Lynn goes 7 innings shutout in this one. He gets a no decision, but, man, he's at a 1.44 ERA and either 4 or 5 starts with the Dodgers.
I think it's been 4 quality starts.
Really good, man. The shortest he's gone is 5 innings, and I think that was a 5-inning shutout game.
Yeah.
In that game, though, you got to give credit. Tip of the cap, Corbin Burns, who might be heading out of Milwaukee soon. 7 shutout innings by Burns in that one as well. He obviously gets the no decision. Milwaukee gets swept.
I think the craziest part, like back on the differential what you were talking about with the Brewers, is they're -5. And the Cubs are in second, and they're plus 63.
I mean, 100%, which is why I think I'm kind of coming around on the Cubs. I was definitely not looking at run differential as close as I should have, man. These numbers are pretty insane. If you look at the division leaders right now, it's plus 208 for Atlanta, plus 147 for the LA Dodgers, and -5 for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie, the division leaders would look a lot better if the Cubs were leading.
It would look better, but even still, they're so far behind the other two.
It's clear that the Central is the inferior division there, yeah.
It's like that in both leagues.
Yeah, so after that series, the Brewers are up 2 games on the Cubs and the Reds.
Yeah, see, like that's another thing that I'm talking about. Like the Cubs and Reds have the same, they're sitting at the same place in the standings, and the Cubs are plus 63 and the Reds are -20. Like,
that's
come on.
baseball
Baseball's
for you, man.
nuts.
That is baseball for you. It's pretty wild. We're going to move over to the end of a 2-game series between Philadelphia and Toronto. We were really interested in this series because they're 2, like, bubble teams really trying to get in. I don't know if you can even call Philadelphia a bubble team anymore.
Nah, I think they're going to make it.
Yeah, they're pretty prominently up in that top spot now, so, I mean, as long as they hold pat, they'll get it. And that series ends in a 2-game split. As we said, the first game ends in a hit-by-pitch go-ahead RBI. Pretty wild. The second one, pretty handy Philadelphia win. Philadelphia wins 9-4 in that one. We were talking and predicting this game on Wednesday, man. That is not what we saw coming.
No, we said it was going to be more of a pitcher's duel, like 4-3.
Yeah, and in this one, Gosman gives up 5 earned runs, 7 hits, and 5 1/3.
Well, we were close. You said 4-3. It was 9-4. They just scored one more, and the Phillies just blew up.
Yeah, not very close. So because of the end there. Nola, 4 earned runs and 4 hits, 5 innings pitched, and gets the win. So neither starting pitcher's phenomenal, because that's what we were saying. We thought it'd be the starting pitchers really stepping up.
Toronto is only hanging on by a thread now on the American League wild card.
Yeah, they're a half game up on Seattle.
Seattle, they're still surging.
It's getting scary.
Now they're on another 3-game win streak after kind of scuffling a little bit against the Royals.
And we'll be talking more about Seattle because they got a huge series coming up this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Baltimore and San Diego, they finish a big 3-game set. Really bigger for San Diego when you look at it because...
Oh, they definitely need the games more.
they are a team on the push right now. San Diego takes the last game 5-2, and they played great ball here, man. 2 out of 3 in the series from a great Baltimore team. Tatis steals home in the 7th, excuse me. I mean, you don't see it every day. This was a straight steal. Head first slide type steal. He just straight up beat him.
I mean, some of the athletes in the league right now are just so insane, man.
Mm-hmm. Him and Acuna especially, they really stand out on the base pass.
De La Cruz did it earlier this year.
Definitely. Tatis and De La Cruz, there's a lot of similarities there when you look at it.
Yeah, they have very similar statures.
I wanted to bring this up because this was wild. We're talking about run differential a lot. San Diego, the Padres, have a better run differential at plus 62 than Baltimore has at plus 58.
Baltimore is in first place, and San Diego is, 5 games out of the last wild card spot?
And Baltimore is in first place of what we were calling the strongest division in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why.
It is.
Because they have to play each other so often?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I mean, baseball's a tough game, and like you said, those numbers can be off-putting sometimes. It's really wild.
I mean, the Rays are plus 145 in that division, so what's really the excuse?
There you go. Never mind. No excuse.
Yeah.
Credit to the Padres for somehow having a better run differential.
I think it's just because the Padres either win big or they lose big.
It's a big slugging team, but that's the thing. They don't have bad pitching, so it's a team that could really make a push late.
Yeah.
I kind of start to like them now. I just wanted to bring up, Baltimore does go to Oakland now for a 3-game set.
On a little bit funnier of a note, did you see Lars Nootbaar?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that funny,
It's
man.
funny for us.
This looks like it hurt,
It's funny for us. He fouls a ball off the ground and it bounces up and hits him right in the nads.
Yeah, bro, it was rough, bro. And you want to know what is funny? Did you see that they moved him to the 10-day IL?
Yeah, and they said it was like abdomen or something.
They said he was going with an injured abdomen. Like,
I don't know about that one, guys.
Redbirds, we all saw where that ball hit Lars Nootbaar. It didn't hit him in the abdomen.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to give one of their top prospects, Mason Wynn, a chance. He's going to get called up.
Yeah, phenomenal. That's a shortstop, correct?
Yeah.
He's gonna be a fucking... I don't know if they're going to give him too many at-bats. He didn't play last night.
No, I mean, they'll probably ease him into it.
I would think so. I think clearly what this says is that he was going to be a September call-up.
Yeah.
So this is just an untimely injury, getting the guy early call. I wonder if it affects his service time.
It probably would slightly.
Yeah, it might take a year away from the Cards, man. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know too much about the service time thing, but I know giving him an extra 2 weeks, obviously it'll accumulate. I wanted to just give a real tip of the cap here. I mean, this is crazy. Ohtani, in the last game against the Rangers, because we saw the Rangers kind of beat up on them in the first two,
yeah.
He hits a 437-foot home run and gets 2 infield singles in that game, and they beat the Rangers 2-0.
So he did everything.
He did legitimately as much as he could, and they scratched and clawed to win out.
I mean, I guess that's why he leads everybody in WAR.
That's why he leads, and that's why he will leave.
Yeah, I mean,
we were going to talk about it. These numbers are insane.
How much does he really lead by?
Ohtani, this is unfair because he is a pitcher. So
it's not unfair. He's the only one that can do it.
I guess, yeah, because he is a pitcher, it does accumulate more. But I think just in general, his batting, I wonder what the actual number is. I'll look into that, and we'll talk about it in a later date. But his WAR in general, he's at an 8.4. He leads all AL players by 3.4. Semien and Robert are at 5.4.
Yeah.
A full 3 points behind him, excuse me.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, 3 games less.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that is the pitching that makes up those 3 games, but I don't like I said, I don't care.
Yeah. But either
somebody
way,
else do it.
him being able to do both of those things, he obviously deserves the award. That's how the stat works.
Somebody else do it.
We're gonna end the intro on kind of a bit of a down note on a couple of things. This one, I just kind of wanted your opinion on this. I saw Tim Anderson released an apology. Was this either today or last night?
I think it was yesterday.
Okay, well, either way, man, it's coming like a full week to the day
Yeah.
after the incident in Cleveland. He's apologizing to basically everyone. Kind of gasses himself up in the apology, too.
Of course he does.
Just kind of wanted your opinion on it.
I think it's probably a pretty insincere apology.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it doesn't take a week to think of an apology. If you're actually sorry for something, you say it right after.
This one feels almost like passive-aggressive, too, because... I mean, he's hyping himself up. He said no one respects baseball more than him.
And how about you show it?
But
on the field?
I'm a big guy where I think apologizing goes a long way, but not if you wait a week and it sounds so sincere.
Not to be that guy, but like, isn't he the guy that always does the bat flips? That is completely disrespectful to the old game.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't care about.
No,
bat
I
flips.
never forget the old game.
I love bat flips, but like
Yeah.
for him to say that, and he's like the one that does it the most and tries to get people riled up, and now is literally getting into physical altercations. I mean, you probably shouldn't be saying you respect the game more than everyone else.
Yeah, basically
Mike Trout's never punched somebody in the face, Tim Anderson.
There you go.
And he probably never will.
I don't think you will. No.
So shut up.
Yeah, my take on that basically is just like I like apologies, man, but that one's bullshit.
Nah,
we know it.
That guy's an absolute clown.
And this last one is just very sad. We've been waiting to talk on this because we didn't want to dump on it if it wasn't true, but man, it really looks true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wander Franco, the young, really phenomenal shortstop for the Tampa Bay Rays, they're going to lose another player here because he's under investigation for a relationship with a minor in the Dominican Republic. Kind of just a really ugly situation. And yesterday, somebody close to the situation said he may never play Major League Baseball again.
Yeah. I mean, listen, dude. Just don't go after kids. Like, he has a 19-year-old girlfriend, has a 22-year-old. What is he even doing with a 14-year-old?
Yeah, no, it's an ugly situation top to bottom. Especially, I mean, it's just an ugly thing to do in general. The Rays signed him to an 11-year deal, so I don't even know what happens with that. Not that it even matters. This is bigger than baseball. I don't even know what they're going to do with the guy. He's under investigation by people in the Dominican Republic now.
Yeah,
obviously MLB investigation.
I have absolutely no sympathy for Wander Franco.
No.
If it turns out to be true.
That's the thing. That's why I wanted to wait to talk about it on the
Yeah.
podcast, but it's looking pretty overwhelming now, and we're just going to kind of keep an eye on that situation and see what happens.
We'll probably touch on it again when more information is available. But
Yeah.
for right now, I mean, it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, we're going to move on to an absolutely loaded weekend of baseball, folks.
We're going to kick it off in the NL. Another huge series.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Dodgers a lot. Let's stick with them.
And we've been talking about the Marlins a lot.
You have to right now.
Yeah, they're just in the mix right now. Huge 3-game set, as I just said, in LA. After LAD and Milwaukee wrap up last night, so they start over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Miami was off last night after the series with Houston wrapped on Wednesday. Miami is now tied for the third wild card spot with the Cubbies and the Reds.
Yeah, I don't know which one actually has the tiebreaker right now. The app lists Chicago and Cincinnati above them. I don't know if that's alphabetical.
I think it might. I don't know.
It might even be run differential.
I
It
was
might.
just-
There's so many things it could be, but right now, honestly, looking at all the numbers there, the Cubs look the best.
It's percentage. They have them by 0.1%.
Win percentage. Okay. Well, it's as of right now. Okay, they're tied.
It's because the Cubs have won one less game and lost one less.
Either way, this is a three-way stun lock. Chicago's got a 3-game against Kansas City, who's not playing bad ball.
No.
Not a great team, but not playing bad ball.
Now they gave the Mariners some fits.
And Cincinnati got a 3-game against a Toronto team that's fighting for their life right now.
Both teams are, though.
We're gonna touch more on Toronto later because they've been having like really hard-fought series. A lot of interleague too.
Yeah. It seems like they've thrown all of Toronto's interleague.
The series we talk about now, though, the Dodgers and the Marlins.
Is that 3 straight interleague series for them?
I think it is. That's
It
the
was
thing.
Cubs,
they got
Phillies,
Philly,
Reds?
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's weird,
man.
right?
That's really weird.
Really weird. That's what I was thinking. It's just a weird week. But the first game starting tonight between the Dodgers and Miami, they get the late game as Chavez Ravine.
Reigning National League Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
Unanimously last
Not
year.
to mention the guy currently tied for the lead in complete games. Even though he's pitching to a
I thought
409.
he took the lead.
Did he?
He has 3
Oh, he
now.
did take the lead. That's right. So he currently has the lead in Major League Baseball for complete games, and he is at a 4.09 ERA. So
It's coming down.
You could tell the guy's still got phenomenal stuff, and he's just working through it right now. He's going against a guy who also has pretty good stuff and is working through it as well. He's also struggling.
This is gonna
Sandy Alcantara versus Tony Gonsolin in Game 1.
This will be a huge test for Sandy. He's going to be facing a very hot team. The Dodgers are currently on an 11-game win streak.
Yeah, dude, they're a scary team right now. I think it's a huge game for Alcantara, and I think it's also a huge game for the Bats of Miami.
If there's a pitcher that could shut them down in their 11-game win streak, it's probably the reigning National League Cy Young.
And I think it's super funny for this to end up being the first game of this series because this is very much a statement game with the ace on the mound.
It's a tone setter.
Yeah, you have to go out there and step up. The second game, kind of even more exciting because these are kind of the young kids. I know Urias has been around a while now because he's getting to it. We got Yuri Perez versus Urias on Saturday. Perez is at a 3.19 ERA on the year. He's 5-4.
I was under the impression that he was not getting called back up this year.
I didn't think he was.
I thought he was on an innings limit, and that's why they originally sent him down. So I'm pretty surprised to see him back.
You can see why they would.
Because they need him.
I think what they did is they decided that they're going to make the push here, and they're going to go all in, and this kid belongs there.
They said, screw the innings limit. He's 5-4 with a 3.19, and we need him to pitch.
Yeah, Yuri Perez has been really good in the limited innings he's had. Unfortunately, can't be really said for Julio Urias. He's got a 4.35 in his contract year right now.
Dude, Yuri Perez is 20 years old. He can afford the innings.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just because he hasn't done it yet in his professional career is the thing. So they don't know how he's going to respond to it, but you got to take the chance.
Right, yeah.
And Urias, I mean...
Like I said, the 4.35 in his contract year, he's on the market this year.
I think he's still going to make a good amount of change, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What did he drop down to like a 20 mil guy?
I don't think he will, though, because of his just history, man. Like he 2.16 the year before, 2.96, 3.27, 2.49 in the last four. Like, he's a great pitcher.
I appreciate his pitching, and I think you're right in a lot of ways, but I think it's impossible to say he didn't leave money on the table this year.
Oh no, he's definitely hurting himself at least a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder how much.
There's still time. He can still he could pitch lights out the next month and a half and get it right back up.
Yeah, and this third game, which honestly, this whole series is so intriguing.
God,
dude.
I love looking at the Dodgers starting pitchers, man.
I mean, not for nothing. Look at the Marlins one in this. This is huge, bro. They got Braxton Garrett going against Bobby Miller, who's been phenomenal. We just hyped him up on a recent episode.
I'm gonna hype Braxton Garrett up too because he has similar stats to Bobby Miller.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna be a nice little Sunday afternoon game. Braxton Garrett's 7-3 on the year with a 3.91. So I mean, obviously keeping his team in the game and getting the wins that he deserves. Bobby Miller's 7-2 with a 3.70.
Yeah.
Very similar stats.
yeah, Garrett's been a nice lefty for the Marlins.
Both
this year.
pretty young guys too. So I mean, it's really nice to see young pitchers like that thrive in a game that's known for hitting these days.
Yeah, should be a really, really fun series between those two teams.
Definitely. Will Miami step up in their biggest test of the season?
Dude, it's so hard to say yes because the Dodgers are so damn good and they're just so hot right now.
Yeah, these aren't easy matchups either, but I feel good about the Marlins pitching matchups they have, not gonna lie.
I'm telling you, man, there's just like a thought in the back of my mind that the Dodgers are still gonna finish as the 1 seed somehow.
Yeah. It's hard. No.
They're only 4 games back.
4 games back of a team that doesn't lose
They're
much.
only 4 games back, and the Braves have gone 8-2 in their last 10, and they're on an 11-game win streak. So they haven't even made up that much ground, and they're still that close.
I think it's going to be hard to ever really make up ground on a team like Atlanta, though.
Yeah, it would be completely if...
It'll be like, if they go a little bit more.
It would be if they start scuffling a little bit, yeah. But, I mean, for the most part, I think they do have a chance.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see them having a chance at it. I think it'll end up being probably 4 games. Something like that. 3 to 4 or 5 games at the end. I think the Braves are just too good to lose games on this.
I'm going to have to look into it. I wonder if they play each other anymore. I don't think they do. But if they do, that would be a huge series.
I'm looking at that
Oh, they absolutely do. They play a 4-game at the end of this month to start September the 31st through the 3rd.
Oh, between...
The Dodgers and the Braves.
Oh. Yo, Dodgers, Braves in a 4-game?
See, like, the Dodgers can make up a lot of ground right there.
Dodgers, Braves in a 4-game is might be the biggest series of the year because...
might be an NLCS.
Yeah, and imagine a team making a 4-game sweep there. Because that would be a playoff sweep.
If they 4-game sweep them, they're tied for the 1 seed as of right now.
As of right now, that would be,
I mean, it's not likely at all that the Braves are getting 4-game swept. We're not going to, let me just say that, but...
It's fun to focus on the top teams, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Where do you think because we talked, Chicago's got Kansas City, Cincinnati's got Toronto, both in 3 games coming up. Where will Miami be after this series in that logjam?
I don't know, because we can't forget about Arizona and San Diego. They're both within striking distance. Arizona specifically has started to turn it around a little bit. They're back on a 3-game win streak, only a game out.
We're going to talk about them like right now, basically.
Yeah. I think the Marlins, I don't know, man, because I keep saying they don't have enough juice, but, like, they're proving me wrong.
The thing is, I think the Marlins do have enough juice. I think this is a really rough series. I think after the series, the Cubbies will be the one in firm position.
I think the Cubs are taking the Central.
Yeah, but I think the Cubs are going to be the one in that 3rd spot alone by the end of this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think Cincinnati and Miami got some much rougher matchups.
For sure. Miami definitely. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, the Cubs having the Royals, they just need to take care of business, and they're good. I mean, the Cubs are only a game and a half behind the Giants and 3.5 behind the Phillies, so they can move up.
Definitely.
They're not stuck at the 3 seed.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge series between Miami and the Dodgers, and we're definitely going to keep our eye on it. We're going to stick with the NL and with the NL West. These are 2 of the lesser teams of the West. They are behind the Dodgers and the Giants over there. But this is kind of weird, dude. We're talking about the scheduling. This is the 2nd series between these teams in, like, basically a week.
Yeah.
We were talking about them on last Friday's episode.
They're playing 2 weekends in a row.
This time they get a 4-game set.
So they start on Thursday.
They got a 4-game set. They've both been playing kind of rough ball. The Padres obviously just take 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore, though, so they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, but they did lose last night.
They did, yeah. I'll recap Game 1 because they did kick off this 4-game set on Thursday. That's what they like to do in the MLB. Game 1 went 3-1 to Arizona. Arizona gets the win there, obviously. There's 2 in the 4th inning on Tommy Pham's 12th homer of the year.
Wow.
You really see these trade deadline guys, their name pops up in the box score a lot.
Did you see the video of it? It was an actual bomb.
Actual bomb to left center, yeah.
He crushed it.
I love
Former Padre. Feels comfortable in that ballpark.
He's been on a lot of teams now, that's true. Gabriel Marino gets his 4th home run of the year in the 5th to make it 3-0. They never really look back. Gresham gets a single in the bottom of the 5th to answer back, but it ends up 3-1. The win goes to Gallen and the loss goes to Hill. Kind of how we saw it going, but Rich Hill stepped up, man. He did go 5 innings, 3 earned. He kept his team in the game. It's really not bad. 6 1/3 there, 1 earned for Gallen, so he gets the win.
From your NL Cy Young favorite right now, I would argue.
Yeah, Zach Gallen's having a phenomenal year. I think it's kind of really between him and Snell, who had another phenomenal game in the last game of the series that San Diego previously had.
Setting up Game 2 tonight, it'll be Brandon Pfaadt versus Seth Lugo. Pfaadt is 0-6 with a 6.91 this year.
Really kind of ugly numbers, man.
You'd think they would pull him out of the rotation if he's that bad.
Try to get him out of the pen, maybe send him to AAA to figure it out.
Let him breathe.
I don't know. This is kind of weird because I think both of these guys have the capability of being pen pitchers too. They got Seth Lugo for the Padres, who was 4-6 with a 4.16. Both guys really struggling.
Yeah. Game 3 is more of it's a nicer pitching matchup. You'd probably argue
one of the nicest these teams could have.
Merrill Kelly, who's having a phenomenal year for the Diamondbacks, another one of their pitchers, versus veteran Yu Darvish.
Yeah, Kelly's at a 3.05 on the year, so like you said, really good, man.
Great year.
Yeah, them having Gallen and Kelly, it makes that team much more of a threat.
That's a solid 1-2 punch.
You'd think they wouldn't have skidded like they did.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Darvish is at a 4.24, but we know the guy's got phenomenal stuff, so at any time he could shut down the lineup.
And then Game 4 on Sunday, the Diamondbacks haven't announced a starter quite yet.
Bit weird. They were doing that last weekend too, right?
Yeah, I guess just keep them on their toes. Don't have them so they can't plan for Sunday right now. Versus Michael Wacha.
Yeah, we just got to give a tip of the cap to Michael Wacha, dude. This caught me off guard that he's been this good this year.
He's been really good for the Padres.
Michael Wacha's been 9-2 on the year, 2.68 ERA, a 1.06 WHIP, and he's got 78 Ks and 90 and 2/3 inning pitch. I mean, damn, man.
Yeah, you'll definitely take that from Michael Wacha if you're the Padres.
It's a guy that's getting on his years. He's been around the league, and he's stepping up.
My question to you, I want you to predict the series, and I want your thoughts on both of those teams real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at Arizona's a game out right now of the wild card, and the Padres are 5. Arizona 5-5 in their last 10, and the Padres 3-7. So I mean, even you take 2 out of 3 from Baltimore, and you're still 3-7 in your last 10. kind of rough to see, man.
You'd think that the Padres to make up any ground, they need to win 3 out of 4 minimum.
It's weird because you know what?
You can't just split and then be right back here.
And you're saying predict the series, but when I look at the series, I think it might be a split, really.
Well, Game 1 already went to the Diamondbacks, so they have the advantage as of right now.
I could see Padres taking Game 2 with a struggling Fought. I could see Game 3 going to Kelly just because he's too damn good. And Game 4 could go to Waka with all that uncertainty on the Diamondbacks side.
I'm actually going to go a different direction, and I think the Diamondbacks are going to prove that it hasn't been a fluke. They just went through a tough stretch, and they're going to take 3 or 4 from the D-backs.
They really need it right now.
Or from the Padres, sorry.
I mean, yeah, with such a big series, that could propel them into because like we said, those other NL wildcard teams, Miami, Cincinnati, and Chicago, they do have big series coming up this week. I really think it's a series that Chicago has to capitalize on playing Kansas City to maintain that spot.
I'm not counting out Arizona, though.
No, impossible to at this point, especially when they had such a good first half.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to... It seems like they've already started to get their legs back underneath them again. They just need to keep going. Keep it up.
Definitely, and I think they could. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's probably a split. You take 3 out of 4.
I'm going 3 out of 4 for the D-backs.
And, man, if the D-backs can take 4 out of 4, they're feeling phenomenal going into the week.
That would maybe, you would think about, that might be the nail in the coffin for the Padres.
I like the Snakes. Last point, switch back to purple, please.
Yeah, I mean, some of their players have said that.
And I think it was Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
I think Zach Gallen said wear them permanently.
Yeah, they're just so nice.
Bro, purple and aqua, there's not like a better option. Just do it.
They were so nice.
Just go back, please.
100% agree. Moving on over to the American League we've been talking about the Mariners a lot, so why don't we just keep with it?
Yeah, got to talk about the Mariners and the Marlins because they're one of those half-game teams right now.
We were in the middle of their 4-game series. We said it was a 3-game, but that's our mistake. It was a 4-game. They had another game on Thursday. So Game 3 was the Luis Castillo game versus MacArthur. And Castillo goes 7 strong innings, as you'd expect. Mm-hmm. He gives up 4, though. Only 3 strikeouts, oddly enough. Mm-hmm. Still, I mean, he's 9-7 for the Mariners with a 3.23 on the year.
Yeah, when we set that game up, we thought he'd have a good game. We thought they'd win.
And we also, I mentioned, I think Matt Brash might get the closer role. It seems that he has. It's his 3rd save of the year.
Yeah, good call.
So, he was their best reliever, so I figured why wouldn't you put the best reliever out there, you know?
Great stuff out of the back end of the pen to fill in for Seawald.
Speaking of him, he gets his 4th save in the next game on Thursday. The Mariners, obviously, with that, win the game 6-4.
Yeah, clear indicator that he is the closer, so we did want to give credit to him because that should be really awesome to see, and the Mariners do end up taking 3 out of 4 there, right?
Yeah, huge series. They take care of business as much as you want. I mean, anytime you win a series, you take it.
Yeah, speaking of huge series, and that one was huge because they're a half game out right now. So
yeah, I mean, it closed the gap a little bit.
Right behind Toronto, who's got a battling Cincinnati team.
Yeah.
Okay, but another huge series coming up this weekend.
It is not getting any easier for Seattle.
And this one doesn't get much bigger, man. Seattle's had a tough week of matchups. This one's going to be a huge 3-game set in Houston. So we're going over there to the Trop. That's pretty crazy. Minute Maid, excuse me. Another Juice Stadium, whatever. Game 1 is Bryce Miller versus J.P. France. Bryce Miller's got a 4.04 on the year, and J.P. France, man, I really wanted to give credit to this kid. I don't know if it's just that success lab over there in Houston, but he comes up 9-3, 2.74 ERA. Really good stuff.
Yeah, he's had a hell of a year for them. Of course, that's usually how it goes for teams like the Dodgers, the Braves, the Astros. They know how to draft, so when these guys come up, they just, even like a late round guy, like it just happens for them.
Both of these lineups are surging, so don't be surprised if you see France's ERA balloon a bit.
Yeah, but also don't be surprised if you don't, because he just could shut them down.
Could be a good one.
Yeah. The next game, Game 2, probably the best pitching matchup of the series.
Definitely.
Logan Gilbert, who's been phenomenal again as of late, takes on Framber Valdez, who is the best of the best for the Astros, if you don't count newly acquired Justin Verlander.
True, and I do love watching Framber work. Like we said, I think he went 7 and gave up 4. They always push him, or maybe 7 2/3, something crazy.
Yeah, he eats innings.
He kept pushing into the 8th, even though he was giving up runs, which they do use him for. I think you're going to see a lot of the same in this game.
Yeah, Gilbert.
It's going to be a tough-fought series, and I think they're going to want to save the pen by using Valdez deep.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's usually what they do on his starts. Mm-hmm. Gilbert is 10-5 with a 3.80. And Valdez is 9-8. Weirdly enough, has 8 losses with a 3.31.
Yeah, it is weird, but I think again that might be part of the reason because they just kind of keep pushing him, even though he gives up runs.
Yeah, and then he gives up like another one extra.
So
two
he's
extra.
a team player. It's not really about win-loss. We know that there are stats that mean much more than that. You said that was probably the best. I think this might probably be the most interesting, though, because these are two young guns right here for these teams. We got Emerson Hancock for the Mariners. I mess those teams up so much.
So often.
Yeah, it's really tough, man. But they're Emerson Hancock for the Mariners, and then Hunter Brown for the Astros. These are two young MLB-ready arms just trying to get their footing.
That's who I really wanted in the Verlander trade for the Mets.
Yeah, if you could have made it work, yeah.
I don't think that was ever an option, though.
It didn't seem like it, no. But that's going to be a nice, exciting young pitching matchup.
Yeah, as we were just saying, the Stros finished strong against the Fish. They win their last game of that series big. I think it was like 14-5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're still rolling. I mean, the Mariners. This is probably the biggest series of the weekend in terms of playoff.
Yeah, unless you're counting Marlins Dodgers.
Yeah, but
Marlins
but I'm saying like the Dodgers they're in.
True. Oh, for both teams.
Houston
yeah.
and Seattle are not.
No, you're very right.
Neither of them are locked.
Yeah, and with this being a 3-game set, man, a sweep by Seattle, that knocks Houston out of the wild card.
And a sweep by Houston could really hurt the Mariners' chances.
Yeah.
Could put them back where Boston is at 3.5.
That is crazy.
I mean, the standings can look very different on Monday.
How do you see this series going?
It's so tough, man, because it is in Houston, so you like to give a little bit of hometown credit, but I don't know if it matters that much for the Mariners.
These are really good pitching matchups on both sides.
The Mariners are equally as good on the road as they are at home, it looks like. So I'm going to give the Astros the benefit of the doubt. I think they're a slightly better team. I think they'll win the series 2 out of 3, but it won't be easy by any means.
I take Astros sweep in close games.
Fair enough.
I think they just have the experience and the matchups on all 3 of these days.
Yeah, and it does seem like the Mariners have been a bit loose on the pitching end recently. Like, they gave up a lot of runs to the Royals.
I think it's going to hurt, and it hurts to say, but I think it might be a close game Astros sweep, which will make it even more frustrating.
Yeah, so the last part I wanted to say about this little series is this is what took Seattle out of the playoffs last year.
Right,
Houston.
yeah,
So
as it often does.
If they happen to both make the playoffs and somehow match up again, do you think the Mariners can get their revenge on the Astros and knock them out this year? Like, what are the chances?
Yeah, the chances don't feel great, but man, it is baseball, and that is the story I want to see. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're only sitting, 3.5 games behind them?
I mean, like we said, this 3-game sweep does it for them.
Yeah,
they just have to play good ball after that.
Yeah, it could put them right back in.
So it all depends on this series, really. Like you said, it actually is definitely the biggest series of the weekend.
And we haven't mentioned it because of how good they are, but I mean, in another huge series, the Rangers are going to be taking on the Brewers, so it's not like the Rangers are playing a nobody team.
No, they're playing a first-place team, but like we said, Brewers -5 run differential.
They have been struggling, but I mean...
-5 to negatives, or to Texas's 195 run differential.
Yeah, well, they're not the same.
No, so it's going to be a tough one for them, which is actually, you said it's going to be a little bit of challenging for...
The Cubs could be in first place.
Yeah, I was going to say, that really screws Milwaukee, man. That's a rough matchup to draw right now.
Yep, so, I don't know, I just think maybe the Mariners can do it.
Yeah, I mean, if the Mariners take 2 out of 3 here even, it's huge.
I think this will be a nice indication and like a little preview.
This will be the series I have my closest eye on the weekend.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it's huge.
Mm.
It's 2 teams that are really fighting for their spots.
Most definitely. We're going to move over to a big interleague series on the weekend. Really the only interleague series worth mentioning on the weekend.
We were just talking about it with the Blue Jays constantly being in the interleague scene this past week and a half,
it
seems
and
like.
We've touched on both of these teams this episode already with Toronto and Cincinnati, starting a 3-game in Cincy.
Yeah. Toronto's coming off a 2-game split against Philadelphia, like we mentioned, and Cincinnati split a pair against Cleveland in the Battle of Ohio. The first game they lost 3-0. The second game they won 7-2.
Yeah, a lot of the wild card teams right now, like we haven't really said it specifically, but they're really playing 500 ball.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just playing simply 500 ball.
Yeah,
they a lot
really
of
are.
6 and 4s and 5 and 5s and 4 and 6s. You could see it.
Yeah. It all looks... There's nothing really better than 6 and 4 in the wild card.
That's why there hasn't been a lot of movement in the last week.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistently the same picture this whole week.
Mm-hmm.
To set up the series between the Jays and Reds, the first game is Barrios versus TBD. The Reds don't have an starter announced for tonight.
I always think that's interesting when it's the day of and they don't.
I mean, the game starts in 6 hours.
Like I said, man, I love baseball and I watch it very closely. I don't know, because maybe a Reds fan would be like, oh, I mean, we're going to start this guy, but I don't know who they're going to start.
Yeah, I mean, unless you did like extensive research.
Yeah, I mean, is this going to be a pen game?
It could be.
Against Barrios?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's bold to do in a wild card race.
I just don't really know if they're in the position to be doing stuff like that.
I don't think they are.
Whatever. The second game goes to, well, first I want to give Barrios, he's 9-8 with a 3.53. So he's had another nice year.
Yeah, always keeps that ERA in the threes.
He's been good for the Blue Jays since coming over. The second game, speaking of a new guy coming over, Chris Bassett.
Yeah, guy we give a lot of love to, innings eater.
Yeah, he was fun to watch last year on the Mets. He'll be taking on Brandon Williamson. Bassett's 11-6 with a 3.95. It's a little bit up, but he's won 11 games. That's impressive nonetheless. Williamson is 4-2 with a 4.33.
Yeah, been a little tough for Williamson. He's a left-handed pitcher.
He's a young kid.
The thing is, this Jays team hits lefties well, though.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's nice to see young starters in the rotation for the Reds, because maybe it shows like a real future.
Yeah, I mean, all they have is young starters right now, right?
Yeah, if they just develop together, they could have.
They got their Ashcraft, their Green, their Lodolo, Williamson. Yeah.
Speaking of them, Hunter Green will be on the mound for the Reds in the third game.
This is the one I got my eye on.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun. It'll be Hunter Green, as I just mentioned, taking on Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Yeah, so in his short innings, he's 1-1 with his 2.57. That's Hyun-Jin Ryu. Credit to him.
And the flamethrower, Hunter Green, finally back for the Reds. He's 2-4 on the year with a 3.93. His ERA seems to be a little higher than what you'd expect given his stuff, right?
The thing is, he's dealing with injuries all year, so it's not going to be easy just to come out and pitch. And this is going to be another tough matchup for him here.
Another young dude in the rotation for the Reds that they really need to step up if they want to make it.
Yeah, for sure. Toronto only has a half-game lead over the Mariners, like we said, for that last AL wildcard game. The Mariners obviously have a tough draw with Houston, so this is really going to be a series where Toronto has to step up against another competitive team.
Yeah, and we've already discussed how much of a logjam the NL wildcard is, with them being tied with the Marlins and Cubs, and the D-backs only being a game back, and the series, I mean, the Cubs have by far the easiest series this weekend. This might be the most difficult.
Yeah, and this, we were saying that...
the Dodgers probably is, to be fair.
We were saying Mariners-Astros might be the biggest series. I mean, this one, man. This series goes up really poorly for one of these teams.
Technically, these are two teams that are currently holding the third wildcard spot.
Correct, yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, if this series sways in one way, and I'm not going to lie, on paper, I'm kind of seeing it sway in one way right now.
Such a great weekend of baseball, but that was my final question to you on this is, what are your thoughts on this series, and who do you think has the advantage?
People are going to laugh, and you could laugh if you're listening, man, because I just said that the Astros are probably going to sweep the Mariners, but I said it was going to be close games. This one, I think Toronto's going to pretty handedly take, honestly.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a sweep or a 2 out of 3, and I think the games
in Cincy.
And I think the games Toronto take will be looking pretty good, like a 7-3 win type thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have a night, like we were just talking about, it's nice to have arguably, I guess Gosman's the ace, but your second best pitcher being on the mound against somebody who's not announced 6 hours prior to the game.
And then you got Hyun-Jin Ryu, who's just been phenomenal so far, and he's going against a guy who's been banged up. Bassett, who just goes deep against a guy like Williamson, who's been getting banged up too.
Yeah, I'll say the Blue Jays do have the matchup advantage, so that's the answer to that question. But I don't know, I think the Blue Jays are going to win the series because I think they're just a better team than the Reds. They're just more experienced. They just have more.
Yeah.
Just thump and just veteran presence. But I don't think the Reds are going to go down easy.
I think Monday, my analysis of this series is on Monday. Me and you are going to be sitting here talking about how big of a series it was for Toronto.
I mean, very well could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, Toronto's a hell of a ball club.
Shout out to the Jays. Let's get them back in the post, man.
Absolutely.
That's going to do it for us today, folks. It is Friday, August 18th, 2023, and this was episode 12 of the 9 Frames podcast. I'm one half of your host, Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
And honestly, I just wanted to say I've been having fun doing this. I hope you guys are having fun listening.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The first what is that? It's been
3 weeks
3
now?
weeks
Yeah.
now. No, 4 weeks. If this is 12,
Huh?
this has been the fourth week we've done it in a row, and I mean, it's been fun. It's always nice to sit down and talk baseball with you specifically.
Nothing I love more than talking ball. So if people like listening to it, man, we're gonna keep making it for you guys.
Yeah.
You could catch us at 9 Frames on Spotify, 9 Frames podcast on YouTube, at 9 Frames. That's our X, and you can catch us on PlayerGM.com. Thank you so much for listening. Like we said, please like and subscribe on YouTube. It means a lot, and follow us on X.
Yeah, just hit that subscribe button if you can. It takes a second and it helps us a ton.
Yeah, even hit the bell if you want a notification to know when the new episode goes live.
Regardless, just anybody out there listening is very appreciated.
Thank you so much, and we're going to catch you guys on Monday to recap what is going to be a tremendous weekend of baseball.
Enjoy the great weekend of baseball, everyone.